Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Five Side Podcast. I'm joined by my midweek friends Ross Dewar,
Evening.
Billy Kirkpatrick,
Howdy.
Craig Gregor,
Hello.
and Matthew Thompson.
Hello, folks. Hope we're all well.
So we've decided to just change our format up a bit. We're going to go for 2 podcasts a week. We're going to do a midweek podcast when there's games on to cover those games, and one Sunday or Monday to cover the weekend's games, just to sort of keep the length down of each podcast. But without further ado, we'll move on and discuss this midweek's games. Some controversy, some high score lines, and some late comebacks. We're going to jump right into the championship. There was 2 games in the championship. We're going to talk about one of them. We're going to talk about Dunfermline 4, Wraith 1.
It was actually I actually really liked this game. It's a good game to watch. I did not expect this scoreline. I'll tell you that. Don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I said during the week, at the weekend, when Dunfermline played Hearts, they were unlucky not to get something from the game. If I was a Dunfermline fan, I would have been quite upset not taking anything from it. So it was a good bounce back performance anyway.
Considering how well Rafe has done lately, they seem to either win games by 4 or lose games by 4, it seems lately.
Yeah, they're quite an inconsistent team.
Yeah, well, for me, Wraith were particularly poor in the game. They lacked any real kind of, attacking kind of creativity, which is, surprising. They've brought in, a few good attacking players, but, just really, really struggled to kind of create anything. And Dunfermline, dominated the possession, dominated the general play, and, were really deserving winners of the match.
Yeah, well, you say
Yeah.
that. I'm just looking at it now. Wraith only had 2 shots on target throughout the whole match, which is abysmal, isn't it? When you really think about it.
Wait, that goes back to their game against Hearts as well, where they didn't have any shots on target the full game.
Yeah, so it's not been a good couple of weeks so far for Wraith, has it?
Yeah, I think we need to talk about actually how well Dunfermline are doing. Like, they seem to be performing unbelievably well, considering I would say their team's not of the quality to be second, and they're obviously now 3 points ahead of Wraith, but Wraith have a game in hand.
Yeah, it does take them above Wraith, doesn't it? That result.
I think it just shows how close the championship is. Like, if a team can win 2 or 3 games on the bounce, they will rock up the table. Same way as if you lose 2 or 3 games on the bounce, you will drop down. It's
Apart from Alloa, because they're terrible.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about Alloa.
Yeah, the less said the better.
The less said, the better.
No, I agree. I think that's what we'll maybe see with... Because we've seen with Ayr, they had a really poor run of fixtures that dropped them out of that top 4. But if they can get a few more wins on the bounce, then they'll certainly be knocking on the door.
And it's going to be easy for Ayr at the weekend again against Hearts.
Oh, of course. This game started out. The first goal came. I don't know why, and he's actually seen the ball through from Wilson was actually really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good ball.
And Declan McManus, he's one of my favourite Dunfermline players, if I can say that. So-called favourite. And it was actually a really good finish from him to put into the.
It was, I think sort of questionable defending. I mean, it's a really good ball coming through from the midfield, but I feel like there should be someone in that position that's able to cut it out, but it doesn't take anything away from the ball or the finish.
No, not at all. And then, so that was just before half time they scored, and then second half they came out, and this is probably the standout goal for me. Where the right back Comrie just picks it up, loose ball, and just bombs forward. And he doesn't seem to have anyone really contesting him, gets through and just slots it in. It's well worked.
Yeah, no, it's a good finish. Yeah, as I say, creates a space really well down that right side, and it's a really cool finish into the bottom corner.
I think though the free kick from Murray, dare I say it, I think that was just a fraction better. Just to get it up over the wall into the top hand corner, keeper absolutely rooted. Just you could have put two keepers in, wouldn't have saved it. It was just in the
Could you?
in the postage stamp, as we would say.
Yep.
Yeah,
Thanks for that analogy, Bill.
on loan from
Although it was a
Hibs,
very
is he?
good free kick.
Yes, an exciting young
Yeah.
prospect, but really finding his feet, it seems.
I think Billy's been that excited by the free kick, he's forgot to mention that Wraith did pull a goal back in
They
that
did.
second
Oh,
half.
I wasn't really caring.
It was a good shot. To me, the goalie probably could have done a bit better, but
Yeah,
We'll let him
it's a good
off, though,
effort.
'cause
Yeah, it's a good
it's a
shot. To be fair to
championship.
him, it's a championship.
the player Spencer, he did really well to win the ball back in the middle, and then just no one around him just decided to have a wee shot. And if you get them on target in this level, you're going to trouble the goalie.
Yeah, completely agree. Brad Spencer.
I don't know about that, to be fair, but I think they're a wee bit better than what you've made them out to be. It's not like us
Jerry,
playing
you seen
fives
some
where
of the-
we can't catch the ball.
Have you seen some of the quality of
talking
goalkeeping in this level before?
That was.
I've got
Well, it's not much better than the league above. We're going to talk about Joe Lewis later, aren't we?
Yeah.
we will be.
This, to be fair, this level is slightly above the level of League One, which is Joe Hart and Jack Ruddy. But we won't go back to them. Jordan Hart.
You know,
Oh, dear.
Oh dear.
There's
He
no
should
way.
have fallen
There's no
from
way
his
he'd
time
get a
at
game in
Man
the
City
Scottish
to
League One.
League One.
Not a chance.
I don't think he'd get a game.
Well, to go back to this game,
let's go back to this game. Yeah,
Fraser Murray sealed off the win with a nice cut in, and it wasn't at the best of shots. It was going really quite straight at the keeper, and then just deflected in. That sealed the win for Dunfermline.
yeah. In the other championship game, which we're not going to talk about, it was a 1-1 draw between Arbroath and Inverness. Jack Hamilton getting his second goal in as many games for Arbroath. And it was very short because just after half time, Inverness scored through Sutherland. And that was the end of the game. Well, not the end of the game, but that was it in the goals front.
I mean,
You could have just turned that game on for the minute before half time and a couple of minutes after half time, and that would have been it.
Yeah, that takes Arbroath 3 points ahead of Alloa, but Alloa have a game in hand, which the way they're going, I don't see them winning.
For Arbroath. Yeah, no. Nobody sees Alloa winning. There we go.
Nah, no one.
Same
So
old
we're going
Alloa.
to the SPL next.
Yeah. Without further ado, we're going to move into our Premiership games. Sorry, we've got 4 games here. 4 games we're going to talk about out of 6. So we'll start ourselves off up in Aberdeen as they continued their terrible form, losing 2-0 to league hotshots Livingston.
So that's 3 games without a goal now for Aberdeen, is it?
Yeah, like I said at the start of the week,
Yeah.
they're just not. They just can't score. It seems.
Brought a few strikers in, but
In saying
it's
that,
where
they
they can do it for them.
I was about to say they've basically signed a new front line this January, so hopefully they'll get a bit of chance to click in together. I seen Hornby did get off the bench, but I don't think
Hornby
they
started,
had a chance to do much at that point.
Hornby did start.
Did he?
That's also
So he did.
Livingston's first win at Pittodrie since 2004, which is quite a remarkable statistic. Seeing Aberdeen play a couple of nights ago, you'd think they'd lose every time Livingston come to town.
Yeah. Well, David Martindale, considering he wasn't a fit and proper person until a couple of weeks ago, he's built up some run of form for Livingston after their subpar start to the season. Really.
Yeah, you've got to say that you can't let Aberdeen being dreadful take away from the fact that Livingston are doing really well. It's like it was a really good win for them, not just based on the fact that Aberdeen aren't doing that well.
14 games unbeaten in all competitions is some feat for Livingston.
We're going to talk about, as Craig likes to call him, Joe Hart, but Joe Lewis is Own goal.
Big Calamity Lewis.
I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I've got no idea what he's doing.
It's
He's always been one of my favourite sort of goalkeepers in the league. He's always seemed to be fairly solid for Aberdeen, but I don't know. I've seen Craig do better than that.
it's just not very good. I'll tell you that much. The cross is a very poor cross, one that you really
horrendous.
need to just catch, and he seems to just kind of throw it into his own net. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm guessing he's just not expecting it at the near post, and then it's come straight at him, but he's just not managed to get himself in the right position. But
I think
it's
he
horrendous
forgot he
for a
was
goal, and It's
playing.
usually solid.
Yeah, and it didn't get any better for Aberdeen because only 10 minutes later they conceded again through Nicky Devlin with his head. Sorry about that.
This was just more dreadful defending. How's a right back getting that much space inside the box to head it at
Yeah.
home?
It was a good header,
All I've
though.
got written down is they can't defend. it's all that space inside their box. It's ridiculous.
It was a good header by Nicky Devlin. It was well put away, but considering how much time he got, anyone in that sort of league in that position is going to score.
No, I agree. There was the instant as well where the ball looked as if it might have been over the line as well. I don't know if anybody else seen it.
Yeah, Aberdeen might have thought they got themselves back into that when Ferguson shot, but it was not over the line. I think that was very clear.
Yeah.
It would have
Should be a
been
good shot,
quite
though.
undeserved, I would have said, if Aberdeen had got something in the game in the end after that. But
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, without goal line technology, if you're not 100% sure, you don't give the goal, and obviously the officials weren't fully convinced, so they didn't give the goal. And tough luck, Aberdeen defend better in the first 15
Yeah, we'll
minutes.
move on and see.
Yeah, with Hibs also winning, that moves Hibs ahead of Aberdeen, although Aberdeen do have a game in hand. So they could go back ahead of them if they win their game in hand, but at the moment Hibs
Well,
are
they
up
play
into
each other
third.
this weekend as well. Hibs and Aberdeen play each other this weekend.
It's going to be a key one
so
in the fight for
that
third
could be-
place.
Yeah,
or second place,
Exactly.
possibly.
Yeah.
or second place.
So yeah, well, further ado, St Mirren 1, Hibs 2. Don't have to talk about this one for much, but just to make everyone aware of the score. Yeah, it was a bit late
Yeah.
in the action for that game, wasn't it?
Obviously, Anik getting red
Well, as I say,
carded
St Mirren
sort
were
of changed the
Down
game.
to 10 men as well, pretty early. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty early on.
Um,
But it was a clear red card for what I've seen.
St Mirren
Um,
still do look like they're playing a bit better though. They're 2 wins against Dundee United and Celtic, and obviously just came up short against Hibs. But they look as if they've
Yeah.
turned a little bit of a corner.
They'll be safe this season.
Um,
I think they've got enough in them. I think they'll be safe.
Well, they've got you've already guaranteed Kelly are going down, so they are going to be
I'll
safe.
get onto that later on.
Well-
We'll move on to Kelly. Abysmal form, and it continues. Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 4. I watched this game. Very comfortable sort of outing for Celtic. Who they just dominated for the first half hour. Had created a few chances. Could have scored earlier on. But eventually the breakthrough came through Brown, scoring with his head from Turnbull's corner. Yeah, it's not the best defending, but Brown's moved really quite well. His movement's fantastic, and he's just got his head on it and directed it into the corner of the net.
Yeah, it is quite good movement from him. Yeah, get his head on that, find the space, and then it wasn't a terrible header in the end. It was a
No, it
well
was
placed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Considering he's not known for his heading
think-
ability,
I think
really.
no, I think that's him redeemed himself now for this whole season. He scored the first goal against Kilmarnock, who,
Yeah.
as we all know, are really tough to break down at the moment.
Oh yeah.
So
Well,
that's,
the team on
that's him back in
form.
my good books.
To be fair to Scott Brown, I think he had an okay game. he just did his job. He kept himself reasonably quiet. And yeah, I can't really complain about anything he did wrong in the game.
No, that's true.
Not too much happened that first half apart from that. Burke had maybe a few chances that he could have done something
He
with,
did.
but
He had that one
Yeah,
really
when
early on, didn't he?
when the
Yeah,
ball came
the
in.
one where he gets in behind Greg Taylor.
But I thought that was
Yeah.
quite good play. Well played from Greg Taylor to save Bain's blushes, really.
Yeah, I don't
he
know why
recovers it
Bain-
because yeah. No, I completely agree.
Bain doesn't even move. He's kind of like is accepted the fact that it's going to get poked into the net or the defender's going to do something, isn't he?
He's 6 yards out and he's gone now, just like
Oh,
Greg
just
Taylor.
leave it.
Deal
I'll
with
let
it.
it run. Yep.
Penalty, yeah. Penalty won.
Well-
Won by Albion Ayeti. A bit unconvinced as to how much of a penalty it is. It has since transpired that he has been cited for speculation simulation.
too much ban, is it then?
Yep.
Too much ban if
Yeah.
it's accepted, or if it's appealed. It's in 4 days' time. The appeal would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think when I watched it at first, it didn't really look like much. I think it's one of those ones where it's tough to say it's a dive, but I wouldn't call it a penalty.
I said this
it's-
earlier. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's. I think there's a little
I'm
bit
not-
of contact,
I don't
but
know.
I'm really not so
Yeah.
sure about it. And
I
he's
think the same-
already
yeah.
going down.
Yeah, I was about to say that he's thrown himself down regardless of whether or not there was contact coming anyway. I don't know at what point that becomes a foul, but
Yeah.
no, definitely. I don't think Celtic can have too many complaints about it being cited.
No, and we'll just start our better striker.
No, for
Patrick
me
Klimala.
it was
Patrick.
for me it was a professional dive. I think he's anticipating there to be contact, which there wasn't. But
I mean, if it was a
I don't think
professional
he's
dive, he's no fucking Tom.
I know he's
Daly.
no Tom Daly, but I think Bill can probably better explain that. So I'll bring it to you.
Well, it seems to be at the moment we seem to be going through a game week where there's about 500 decisions that seem to be controversial. It's getting very boring, repetitive, talking about the same things. But for me, I watched the game and listened to the punditry afterwards where they said, "Oh, I can see why the referee's given it." I can't. For me, that is as obvious a simulation as you're going to get. And I just cannot understand why it's been given. Clearly, that is a positioning issue. That is you do not have the right angle and you have not seen that incident correctly, because when you look that back, it's very, very rare that the authorities would, retrospectively charge someone for simulation. Very, very rare. I think, I probably will say it summed up the performance of the officials in that particular game, who I felt from start to finish were below par. Very inconsistent across the whole board of decisions, and it just capped off for me a poor performance with the award of the penalty. It was never a penalty for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the actual penalty. A bit unconvincing sort of penalty, but it's hit hard enough that the keeper kind of stood no chance in actually getting
Yeah,
enough on it.
He gets his hand to it, so I feel like he's sort of unlucky. He's obviously dived out, but he got his hand to it, so it very easily could have stayed out. It's
Yeah,
definitely
just-
not Eddie's best penalty.
It's just hit with power, so it kind of has a better chance of going in if the keeper does get his hand to it, and it did.
Yeah.
It will do for
At
me.
least he didn't. At least he didn't disrespect the goalie, though.
At least he didn't
No,
disrespect
we
the goalie
wouldn't
this
want
time.
that. No, that's true.
But yeah, to be fair, the ref was not fantastic the game. And neither was the linesman for the third goal, as Scott Brown plays. Or is it? It's not Scott Brown, is it? I'm telling you.
Is Scott Brown fair?
Yeah, it's
Scott
Scott
was
Brown,
it?
yeah.
That's a good ball.
Yeah, Scott Brown plays a really quite a good ball over to Edward, who runs. I think he's about a yard offside from the way I'm seeing it here. And he just runs in behind, and to be fair to all the players, no one stops, no one's claiming really for offside and putting themselves out of the game. Apart from the goalkeeper, who just made himself into the thinnest sort of position ever, comes out and Edward just sort of slots around him.
It's just it's not been a week for good goalkeeping, has it?
No,
Or good decisions, which we'll be mentioning in the game.
I'm confused.
2 points I want to kind of make in that. Firstly, I think that goal sums up Kilmarnock, how they've played the last kind of period of time, gutless, spineless, and just downright awful. I'm not one for teams haranguing for decisions, but show a bit of passion. Show a bit of passion and actually challenge it. None of the back line you got the centre back just waves a hand up as if he's waving to get a bus. I mean, show some passion.
I was surprised it wasn't.
You're on a shoddy run of form, and you can't be bothered to put in some effort. And Kilmarnock really need to get somebody in there that's just going to give them a kick up the backside to just put some passion in. Put some passion, show some passion. They were gutless last Saturday against St Johnstone. They were gutless on Tuesday night, Wednesday, whatever the game was, Tuesday night. Keep playing like that, they'll be down. And I said it in the last podcast, I'll say it again. They keep playing like that, they will be down. My second point is that I do have sympathy for the assistant. I think that's just a concentration issue rather than I can't tell the difference between onside and offside, but minor details.
Fair enough, yeah.
I think it's shown how badly Kilmarnock need a creative player. So many times Burke maybe tried to beat a man and he had no one to cross.
It seemed like he was the only person that was actually trying for Kilmarnock. Everyone else is sort of like, oh, can't be fucked. I can't be fucked with this. So it just.
I think
I don't see it getting better for them anytime soon.
No, we'll see. Apparently, they've narrowed down their candidates, narrowed down the CVs that they've got in. So
yeah, I think after Billy's passionate speech, I think he's put himself into the running for Kelly manager.
He's a big Kelly fan as well. So is Billy.
Oh yes,
Yes.
You know me.
Non fan of Kilmarnock.
Yeah, and their misery was ended by Albion Ayeti in the 86th minute, finishing the 4-0 thrashing.
I think it was a game to forget for Kilmarnock.
Yeah.
They were ranked rotten.
Yeah.
Again,
he didn't have his greatest game, I don't think.
No.
But
well, he had the dive and there was a good bit of movement, but I suppose in the end he got himself in the score sheet. Got the ball in the net.
Yeah.
And
so yeah, he did. He put the ball in the net, as you say.
Put the ball in the net.
It was a very good finish actually from him, and I think that's one thing he has. While he lacks sometimes like quick movement and sort of communication and stuff, he's a very good finisher of the ball. I enjoyed that finish.
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot he was playing in the first half until one of the boys mentioned it in the group chat. I felt obviously he didn't have too many chances, and the chances he had he took, but apart from that I think he was a wee bit quiet at points.
Yeah, he was a bit quiet. He was linking up with Edward nicely, which is what you like to see.
It didn't show me anything that makes me think he should be in the team over Griffiths.
No, it's one that's up for competition with those two, isn't it?
Well,
yeah.
If you want to count Klimala, then 3, but...
Well, yeah, and your man, Paddy Klimala. He came off the bench and just didn't really do anything. Like Polish Paddy.
No.
One of the players that did stick out for me that game was one of the players that stuck out for me that game was John Joe Kenny on his debut. Had a very good game.
Man of the match, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, yeah.
He struck me as eager to get forward. He was quite high quite a lot of the time. His final ball could have been better, but I think I'll let him away with it. It was his first game, sort of first match nerves. He'd only trained twice, I think, with his squad. So yeah, we'll let him away with it and see how he gets on at the weekend.
I think it was good to see Celtic going with a player who's not Duffy and playing Welsh. I felt that his inclusion actually was quite good, and I feel he's a young Celtic player. He's probably got a bright future ahead of him if he sticks at it.
I said after the game that I was quite impressed with him, and it's not like he's a child anymore. He's 21 years old. Like, he should be able to come in and play games now more often, and he's perfectly capable from what I've seen.
No, I agree. It's probably. I mean, if we're gonna keep conceding goals, we might as well get the youth players in for it. Get them along for the ride.
Apart from your goalkeeper, apparently your manager doesn't want to change him at all.
Yeah, Christ, I don't know.
Yeah, but Scott Bain's in such good form.
Yeah.
I've got down here.
You know,
Save from Bain on
Oh,
on
wow.
point. So there you go.
Yeah, there was
The
that.
one
The
that
one
was
that
right
was the
at
one
him.
that was
The
questionably
confirmed,
possible over the line.
I thought it was first view,
Yeah.
but I've not had a chance to see it from a different angle, so it's hard to say.
I didn't think
And it's-
so when I looked. At it.
again, it's like Billy said. Without your goal line technology, the referee doesn't get a second look at it, does he? He doesn't get the notification on his watch. He doesn't know. So it's
No.
if the ref had given it, he would have had the same amount of pelters if he hadn't given it. So yeah, sympathise with him for
It
that
wouldn't have
one.
made a difference. Come on, it with that poor, it wouldn't really have mattered.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, a good game with a
So-
terrible ref, and one terrible team.
It takes
sorry
us
to
on to
any
our
Kelly
next game,
fan.
which isn't much different.
Take on our next game. Hamilton 1, Ross County 2 in the last 5 minutes.
Well,
Yep.
Hamilton might have thought they'd done enough going into the 80th minute. But Ross County obviously had different ideas. The first goal, you've got the feel for Stephen Kelly there, because it's just he's really let down. I don't know why Stephen Kelly has to be the player that's that far back in the end anyway.
Yeah, well, Jur's already named him as his man of the match. I think that's a bit bizarre, but okay.
Oh, I think he had a good game and he bounced back. I think he was probably Ross County's best player.
Yeah, I think.
As-
Sometimes it's not your fault for an own goal. Like sometimes, but it's unfortunate.
It's one of those
No,
ones
that's
where
it.
you sometimes just have to get out your mind and just go on with the game and push on.
Yeah, we did say if he got if he got a run of fixtures, he's a player that could do well. Because obviously we've seen him last year at Ayr. The own goal really isn't his fault, for what it's worth. But if you want to take a positive, that is his first goal this season, so he's off the mark now.
I think this is a fitting time to mention Jobbygate, if you will. If sorry, I was away doing a jobby, or some might say.
How long was he muted for? How long did he have himself muted for?
As far as I've read, it was like 5-10 minutes like, into the second half,
Yeah.
and that he had to. Direct quote was, "Sorry, I was away doing a jobby. Had to push that one out."
Oh.
He's subsequently been fired from his position,
He's subcontracted in though, isn't he? So
Sorry.
which I think's a bit.
Yeah.
Hard.
I'm sure he'll be fine for his job, but Hamilton don't want him back.
Some might say he was
He has
shite.
been wrongfully dismissed. He was indeed shite.
Justice for Pooh Man.
It's for
Dear
me
Lord.
the fact that he's like, oh, we'll move on from this subject, but then he keeps talking about it, and he keeps going out, keeps talking about it, and then it's like, oh no, I really want to move on, but I had to squeeze it out, and it's like, mate, just stop, you're hurting
It
yourself
could have
here.
easily just been, oh, sorry, there was technical problems.
Well,
Yeah,
You know what it's like.
So that was
having
probably the
technical
highlight of the game.
problems.
For me, it was, yeah.
probably, yeah.
Big
yeah.
important one for Ross
the last-
County, though.
10 minutes.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Yogi bringing 4 men off the bench in the last 15 minutes, and 2 of them scoring. So obviously
That
knew
was
what
in-
he was doing there.
Yeah, seen that.
Jordan White's debut as well.
Yeah.
So it's a good start. 'Cause I believe he got the first goal, which was a good cross in, and Sorry, actually, the first goal was a mishit shot that then he kind of just latched onto, wasn't it, actually?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
It's
was
funny you say-
Naismith, I think, went down the right side, and I think he tries to hit it.
Yeah, it kind of looks like he's trying to hit it, and then if he's trying to hit it, it's not a good shot, but it's one of those ones where
No.
it doesn't look like he's trying to pass it the way he's lining up, so...
It's funny you
He's
said
absolutely rattled it as well.
about Jordan White. I believe that Hamilton's commentator was Jordan Shite.
That's awful.
Can you stop? Can you actually stop?
That can get edited out.
Tell you what, you're going to lose your job over this too, Jer.
It might.
That's
It
insane.
just might.
This can get edited out.
Yep.
Well,
Oh Christ!
dear.
after getting his goal, Jordan White continues his good debut. And he got down the wing, played in a good cross for Mackay to finish the game off.
Yeah, it was a good ball, and it's a nice little finish from Mackay as well, just to put the game to bed at the end there, seal it for them. I don't think anybody was too worried about Hamilton coming back and scoring another goal. They'd already got their one.
No, there's another team that I think will be in trouble at the end of the season. It's when you've got somebody like Bruce Anderson as your striker, somebody that couldn't score a goal, for Ayr, in league action, could score against Albion Rovers, but so could anybody.
But Ayr could. But Ayr couldn't score a goal. It wasn't just him.
Yeah, but the striker is the focal point of the team, and if Hamilton are trying to resolve their focal point about somebody that scored 2 goals in a Betfred Cup tie against Albion Rovers, then they could be in serious trouble, in my opinion.
We're turning this into Arsenal TV with all the allegations and the no passion and the.
Well, Bruce Anderson, though, to be fair, he did get the assist for the first goal. Two former Ayr players linking up for that goal.
Fantastic.
Oh, wow.
Anderson
Oh, yeah,
into
so it was.
Kelly.
He did play the cross. Yep.
Right.
Back of the net.
So I'll move us on to another score for you. Motherwell 2, Dundee United 1. Dundee United just are fucking terrible.
They're not doing very well, are they?
Mickey Mellon, it's time to go. It's time to go, What a dreadful run of form they've been on. And he's tried and chopped it and changed it and chopped it and changed it. And what do you get? Defeat.
He seems to be a fan. He seems to be a fan of every team that's lost this midweek. And he just wants rid of managers.
No,
he wants managers outdoors. He wants
believe
passion.
next week there's gonna be
I
12
think
new
Billy
managers.
Kirkpatrick, your resident referee.
I think, Dundee United, they have arguably, in my opinion, a top 6 side, and to be struggling, 13 games, that they've had recently.
Well, Billy is talking about the top 6 side that are fit. They're sitting 7th. I know they're 8 without a win, but they're sitting 7th. So it's not. I mean, they are only 4 clear of Kilmarnock, and we all know how bad Kilmarnock
They're
are.
dreadful. I mean,
So it's certainly not a good place to be. You've made your feelings for Kilmarnock very clear.
it's frustrating. If I was a Dundee United fan right now, I would be absolutely raging. Absolutely raging. The attacking players that they have, and just to be struggling to score, can't defend. It's just a recipe for disaster.
Do you think that comes down to poor management or players not believing in themselves?
I think it does come down to.
I think it just comes down to the team being absolutely fucking dog shit.
Well, there we
There
have
you
it.
go. Personally, I think it's management, but that's.
I'll be blunt. But that result does move Motherwell a point ahead of Kelly with a game in hand, so they could go 4 points ahead of Kelly.
Yeah, that's back-to-back wins now as well for Motherwell after beating Ross County. So they're really taking out the big guns to try and keep themselves up this season.
Well,
I think they'll do enough though. I think they'll do
We've
enough.
got an easy game at the weekend as well.
yeah, another easy game at the weekend against Celtic.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Parkhead.
yeah.
Nobody, everybody goes to Parkhead, takes 3 points.
True.
There's the rules.
And our final game of midweek is Rangers 1, St Johnstone 0. Yanis Hadji with the goal. And a bit of referee controversy again in this one. Ross Stewart, would you like to talk us through this one?
To be honest, quite a boring game. It wasn't Rangers at the well-known fluid best. I feel St Johnstone actually played pretty well. They set up with a 3-5-2, and at points played the 5-3-2, which nullified Tavernier and Barisic, who in particular had very quiet games. Couple of chances. Alan McGregor made a couple of very good saves, as he often does. I know not everyone in the podcast likes him, but he is a phenomenal goalkeeper.
Oh, I'm not gonna argue with you here, but I don't like him for a very specific reason.
That's understandable.
So-
and we'll move on from that.
I think,
Yanis Hadji.
Yep.
On you go.
I was just gonna say, like, early in the game, there was a chance that Kent probably should have scored as well. 'Cause it's just about the edge of the box, and he creates the space well, and just puts it wide, which is I think is he a few games without a goal, or am I just making that up?
I think he could be 2 or 3 games without a goal now. Yeah.
What's his haircut looking like at the moment? I've not seen him in a while.
He is normal haircut, just skin fade.
Just his terrible skin fade. Okay.
His last goal was 2 games ago against Ross County.
Yeah, but then prior to that, there's a lot of games without a goal, so I'm taking that. That's fine. He's a lot of games without a goal if you don't count his last goal. So, there you go.
Got to say,
That's the stats. Sorry.
Kmart Roof in for Morelos when Morelos' ban, and you've got to say the only thing he really did was try and break Murray Davidson's leg.
He's trying to emulate his pal Morelos and trying to get himself a ban. And he thought he was off. You could tell he thought he was off because he's slapping the ground. And then the referee shows him the yellow card, and he kind of does a little fist bump. He's like, "Yes, I'm staying on." But he did eventually get hooked by the manager.
I think I'd send myself off if I did that.
Yeah, he
I'd
looked like he was
grab the
away
red
down the
card
tunnel,
off him.
didn't he?
Yeah, I don't think anyone can argue that it was a red card tackle.
Yeah, that
No.
did force Davidson off before half time, and it sounds like he's going to be out for a lengthy time.
Well, it was not that tackle that caused him. It was a tackle after that point, because when he's down injured, he's holding the opposite leg.
Or just it was that
I'm
bad
sure-
a tackle. Hurt both legs.
Sure, I was about to say, I'm sure that tackle didn't help his matter though.
It might have made things better.
It did. Evens out the pain into
Did.
both legs.
He just left the pitch and he popped himself a chalky milk, didn't he?
They did.
Pain
Make
was
things
away.
feel better.
Who was the ref, Bill?
Yeah, so it was David Monroe, new FIFA referee, and
David Monroe.
to be honest, he's a really good up and coming referee, and I can't really apportion too much blame. It's just one of those things he's just misjudged it.
Yeah.
It's a red.
Just a
It's a
misjudgment.
red card.
That's his first game at
It's
Ibrox.
it's not
Yeah.
it's not one that we
And
can.
Billy, as someone who you work in the bank, Bill, do you think he got a massive payout for that one? I reckon he must have. I'm telling you.
I think that's I'll leave the conspiracy theories to those that wish to discuss it.
That's us. Brilliant.
Yeah, I think it also shows how much Rangers have missed Morelos as that sort of focal point. I know this season he probably hasn't performed to what many people would say he's at his best, but he certainly would have gave Rangers a better outball last night. I think at times Roof got the ball and couldn't even touch it. He took one touch and next thing you know it's down the M77.
Takes one touch and next thing you know his foot's in another guy's leg.
Moving on from the controversy though, it was actually a really good goal from Hadji, picking up the ball down at the wing, cutting in, going by a couple of players, and then just drilling it back across himself into the bottom corner.
Yeah, but let's not lie. He was probably offside or something. Knowing the referees.
Probably.
Well,
Yeah, it was quite a bit on side. It was a phenomenal finish by
Yeah.
a player who I feel is quite underrated for Rangers so far this season. That's 13 contributions so far this season in the league, which would take him
13.
to second behind James Tavernier, joint with Nisbet and Edward.
Have we discussed that Steven Gerrard now has 100 wins as Rangers manager?
Yeah, it's an impressive stat.
Some achievement for the man after 8 years or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
that
you're being a
does,
bit harsh on him, considering these.
So see, that's right. We'll give some credit in the sense that they've played at Ibrox now. We're in February and they've only conceded is it one goal at home
Yeah,
all
one
season?
goal. It was Motherwell that scored it.
Yeah. So I think that
Well-
just shows what the power of the having a decent defence and corrupt officials. That's what it does.
It's all in jest. It's all in jest.
It is all
100
in
wins
jest.
for him though. That's and
We're
it
not
leaves him
better.
17 points off the title,
Yeah,
which
It does.
leaves them on track to win the title at Celtic Park.
Won't
I'll be
happen.
looking forward to the Guard of Honour.
I'd argue
Won't
that
happen.
they're not on track. They're not on track to win it at Celtic Park because that implies that Celtic will win the next 5-6 games or whatever it is.
5 games. Yeah.
So
I mean,
I
they
don't
did beat
think
a
that's gonna
very
happen.
on-form Kilmarnock,
Yeah, we
courtesy
did.
of an offside goal and a dive.
To be fair, I think that's bought Neil Lennon some more time.
Has too much time, probably, in my opinion.
Too much
Put
time
the contract on the table.
October.
Celtic are back, baby. We are back.
Yep. We'll go on to the weekend, and hopefully Celtic can continue their dazzling form against Motherwell at home. At home to Motherwell.
Yep.
Some close games at the weekend. I'm not enjoying the fact that I have to try and pick a winner from one of them for a last man standing that I'm in.
You still in that?
Well, it's obvious. Just pick Hamilton.
I could pick Hamilton, but they're not very good. That's the
gonna
obvious reason why not.
I'm going to put my neck out on the line here and say that Rangers will go the rest of the season undefeated in the league.
Well, you still have to play
Bold.
Livingston.
It is bold, they do.
It's a bold statement, but the way it's going, we're winning games even though we didn't play very well. So
But think about it. You're away
I'm
to
not gonna
Hamilton at
lie.
the weekend.
They've got 11 games left. I'm starting. I don't know how many points did Celtic get when they went the whole season undefeated. Does anyone know? 105 or something.
Oh, I can't remember off the top.
Was it-
103 rings a bell, but
If Rangers won every game, they'd finished 108 points, which is a lot of points. I think that I'm pretty sure that's more than what Celtic got in 2016.
I don't personally see it. The last few weeks they've sort of been riding their luck a little bit.
Yes, and their performances haven't been.
That's a
best.
bold prediction, Craig. Yeah.
yeah, Craig.
Yeah, Craig.
What a bold prediction, Craig.
Bloody Craig.
So, I've looked at the other screen and I've seen Craig writing his predictions in. But yeah, no, I don't know. It depends what other teams can do, and I think at least one team will beat them. At
Yeah,
some
I
point,
think we can all agree that no one's stopping Rangers winning the league. It's
I
just how long
I
they
think
can continue the
it's been done since
rich
October
vein
though.
of form.
I think the tough thing for Rangers coming up is European games are coming up, so they're going to have to. Obviously, they're, with having been so far ahead, they're probably going to be fielding full strength teams in Europe and weaker teams, as if you could call them weaker teams
Weaker
anyway,
teams, yeah.
in the league.
Well, for
Yeah,
me,
obviously.
Yeah, but Craig, sorry, I'm just going to say the fixtures around the European game. It goes Kilmarnock at home, and then Antwerp, which fair enough is a European game, and then they are also at home to Dundee United. So
Yeah.
you could play the C
They've
team
got
and win those games.
they've got some nice fixtures around
So
them, but
I wouldn't worry too much
I
about
think looking at Rangers' sort of form, I think they've played better when they've got more of a congested fixture schedule. Like they've done better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at the start of the season, they went like for the 10 games or something in a row where they didn't field the same starting 11.
Yeah,
Which-
something like that.
yeah.
Now they seem to be, obviously, apart from Morella, seem to be fielding very similar teams every week. And although Stephen Davis is a class act and was man of the match last night for some, I think we could give the guy a break. I think he's 35, 36 now. I think a wee bit of time off wouldn't do him a miss.
Right.
He's played very
So-
well this season, but it's longevity of the season. It'd be quite a lot
Yeah,
of legs.
obviously with new players coming in, though, it also gives Gerrard more opportunities to rest players. with Jack Simpson and Scott Wright both being added to the Europa League setup.
So do we want to go and put some hard numbers down, some predictions for the weekend's games, and we'll start with the Championship. So our first game, we've got Ayr at home to Hearts. Craig, would you like to give us your prediction?
Would you like my optimistic prediction or my realistic prediction?
Give us both.
Optimistically, I think depends what Hearts team turns up. Ayr could possibly go and win it. Realistically, though, it's probably going to end up 2-3-1, maybe Hearts.
Okay. Matt, since you've got your notepad and paper out.
Yep, 3-1 Hearts is actually what I was going to say, so I'm going to stick with 3-1 Hearts.
Yeah, I'm going to say 2-0 to Hearts would be my prediction.
So I spoke to someone that has an interest in Ayr earlier on today, and they were 100% adamant that Ayr would win on Friday night. I'm not convinced. I think it'll be a comfortable victory for Hearts. I will go 3-0.
Just to clarify, is that said person PA announcer at Somerset
That
Park?
is, I cannot confirm nor deny who that person is. But that person has a keen interest in Ayr, and
Okay.
Fair play. I'll give you 4-1 to Hearts. I think I'll go for that one. Our next game, Basement Dwellers Alloa against almost Basement Dwellers Queen of the South. Predictions, Craig.
Can't see anything but a 0-0 in that game.
Yeah.
Matt.
Is it not Morton versus Wraith, or am I blind?
No, I've just got a different list. It's just a different order.
Oh, sorry, who did you say? What did you say? Alloa? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Alloa, Queen of the South.
I have 0-0. Actually, I've already written down 0-0 for that game.
Yeah, I've got 1-0 Queen of the South would be my prediction.
Well, I've went quite adventurous. I'm going to go 2-1 the Queen of the South. The goals.
Fair. And I'm going to go 1-0 Queen of the South. Because Alloa are absolute dog water.
No PR.
No PR.
No earnings.
The next
what's
game
next? Arbroath v Dunfermline. We'll do that one.
Well, Arbroath is a hard place to go. They don't. It's a hard place to go and try and beat Arbroath, but I can't see by Dunfermline winning this one. I'm probably going to go the same as the Ayr game, probably 3-1.
Okay, Matt.
I'm going 2-0. 2-0 Dunfermline.
Jure again.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-1 to Dunfermline, I think.
Okay,
I'm going to buck the trend. I'm going to go 1 each, score draw.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll go 3-0 Dunfermline. Dundee Inverness.
This just depends on what Dundee team turns up. To be honest, I can see Dundee kickstarting on with their new players this season. I'm going to go 3-0 Dundee.
I went 1-0. I don't see them getting that many goals, but I think they will get the points.
Yeah, I'm going to say 2-0 to Dundee.
Again, I'm going to buck the trend. I'm going to go 2 each.
All right.
You're enjoying the draws.
I've also went 1-0 Dundee. Final championship game weekend. Yeah, game of the weekend. Morton v Wraith. Craig.
Wraith, if they're going by their inconsistencies, they're due a win this game. So 2-1 to Wraith.
Matthew.
I've went for a score draw. 1 each. I think that'll be.
Yeah, I've also followed Matt and went for 1 each.
I'm going to go just push the boat out here. 4-1 Wraith. I think we'll come back with a vengeance.
Okay. Unlikely. I've went for also a score draw. went for 3 each.
Hold on,
4-1's
for once,
unlikely,
Old school,
but
Lord,
3
capital.
each is...
That
let's
is
see.
realistic. It's going to happen, okay? We'll move on to the Premiership, and we'll start you with Celtic Motherwell.
I think Motherwell will come to Parkhead, and I think they'll set up to try and defend, which is either going to work really well for them or go dreadfully. Motherwell seem to be able to set up and defend well against Rangers in the previous games, get one goal and then just sit back. So I'm going to go. No, I'm going to go 1 each in the game.
Okay. Matt.
Yeah, I had to try and not let my bias here sort of shine through and be honest. So I had 7-0 written down. I'm going to go with 5-0. 5-0 Celtic. I think there'll
Sure.
be too much for
I think it will be one of those games. I think 2-0 to Celtic.
Billy.
tight game. Celtic though should have enough just to see them off. 2-1 Celtic.
And I've gone for 3-0 Celtic. I just think we'll just outclass them, hopefully. We'll move on. Hibs v Aberdeen.
I can't see Aberdeen scoring again anytime soon, especially against a decent Hibs side defending wise. So I'm going to go 2-0 to Hibs.
Nah, see, I think Aberdeen. I think they're going to find their scoring boots this game, and they'll get one each. I think.
Yeah, I'm going to agree that I think Aberdeen will score, because I think at points Hibs have frailties. I'm going to say 2-2.
Again, close game, but I think Hibs will just have enough just to edge it. I think they're the kind of better run at the moment. 2-1 Hibs.
I'm going to go very bold. 4-0 Hibs. Aberdeen are gash.
McInnes will get a sack if that happens, I reckon.
We'll move on. Hot Shots Livingston v St Johnstone.
This is a tough one because St Johnstone are on a good run of form, albeit they did lose last night.
But did you
But it
not
was
say
against
that Livingston's run was going to end?
I said Livingston run was going to end last week. It didn't. So I'm going to see them continue the run this week, and they're going to win 1-0.
I think this week it's going to go. I think St Johnstone look as if they're playing a bit better. I think they're going to win 1-0.
I'm going to say Livy are going to continue. I reckon that it will be 2-0 to Livy.
Can't see the run ending, but I can't see them winning either, so I'm going to go 1 each.
And I'm going to go 3-1 in an Alton Forest hat-trick.
Well, it's very bold predicting the goal scorers as well.
Next game, Ross County v Dundee United.
It's two pretty rotten teams. I'm going to see Dundee United come out the winners here. It's going to be 2-1.
I've actually went for 1-0 Ross County. I think their win against Hamilton will spur them on a little bit and try and push further ahead.
Yeah, I've went for 0-0. I think it's probably going to be a snooze fest.
2-0 Ross County. Dundee United can't defend.
And it's me, isn't it? 1-0 Ross County. Dundee United can't defend, but Ross County are Ross County, so yeah. We'll go with that. St Mirren v Kilmarnock.
I think this will be the snooze fest of the weekend at 0-0.
Okay.
I just can't see a team not scoring against Kilmarnock at the moment. So I've got them to win 2-1. I've got St Mirren to win 2-1.
Yeah, I equally have St Mirren to win 2-1.
Comfortable win for St Mirren here. 3-0.
3-0.
I've also went for a draw. I've went for 1 each. I don't see it being a good game at all. And finally, Hamilton Rangers.
I think this could be a storming win for Rangers. I'm going to go 5-0. Yeah, 5-0.
No, I think Hamilton are going to bounce back from that game against Ross County at the weekend. I think they'll win 1-0.
Sure.
I don't know what to say to that.
That's fine.
I think
See you on Sunday
Rangers
night.
will
We'll
win.
see who's laughing.
I'm gonna say 2-0.
William.
Yeah, Hamilton won't score.
They will.
I don't think they will. I'll go 3-0 Rangers. They won't be at their best, but they'll win the game comfortably.
Okay, and finally, I'm going to go, again, bold. I'm going to say Hamilton 2, Rangers 1. Hamilton are going to strike early, rattle the Rangers, and
They always do.
Rangers are going to get themselves back into it, but Hamilton are going to top it off with a 90th minute winner on
That'll
that
do
terrible pitch of theirs. So yeah,
Billy,
that's all your
do you know
games.
who the ref is? Do we know who the ref
I
is for that
don't.
game?
Sorry, no.
No. Well,
Don't worry, I'm
reserve-
sure.
I want to change my prediction depending on the ref. Just
All right,
I'm
okay.
sure. I'm sure Rangers have
That's,
already got the refs' bank
I
details.
think it might be
I think
Bobby
that's the
Madden.
key
I
of,
don't know. Don't quote me on that.
Oh,
Oh,
Christ.
there you go.
Yeah, they're
I
going
think that's
to. Well,
the
I'll
key
change
of
my prediction now.
tonight's
Never mind.
podcast, consistency. That's what obviously we're all
Yep.
looking for from
I'll
referees.
So, yeah,
I can find out. Hold on.
just I don't think
You're
we
gonna
need to
find
know.
out
I'll
for us.
find out.
I
It's
I
fine.
think
You
we're
can
okay.
let us know after.
That is Bobby Madden.
But
There you
for
go.
now,
So I need to know if I need one
Would
each.
you like-
I
okay,
changed to
one
one
each.
each.
okay, I'm keeping mine at
One each,
2-1.
Can I also add James Tavernier penalty to that? Just to
Yep.
make sure everyone
Okay,
hears
that's
it
fine.
first.
Yep. And on that change of mind, we'll end the podcast. We'll end the show. If you'd like to say your farewell, Ross Juror.
As always, guys, thanks for taking the time to listen. Hopefully, this was less of a bore fest, and looking forward to getting 55.
Yep.
Billy, say goodbye to your
Goodbye.
listeners. Craig,
Goodbye. Thanks for listening.
Matthew,
Yep. Hope you all enjoy the podcast. Please don't forget to follow us on all social medias. You can find them all on our Facebook page anyway.
and from me, it's goodbye, and we'll see you on Monday.